Hey there, today I'm going to show you how to integrate OpenPhone and Zoho CRM. So on one side I have OpenPhone, on the other side I have a contact in Zoho CRM, and I'm going to show you how to bring text into Zoho CRM as a note, as well as ingoing and outgoing calls into Zoho CRM, and how to keep Zoho CRM contacts in sync with OpenPhone. Let me show you a quick example. I'm going to ask my colleague to send me a text message so it shows up here at her contact record in Zoho CRM. Hey Paula, can you send me a text message? I want to show on YouTube how to integrate OpenPhone in Zoho. Yeah, anything works. Thank you. So she just sent me a message. I heard something here. Let's refresh this. There you go. Here's a message. And let's see on the other side and refresh this. There you go. Hey there, I'm Andres. I work at Connex. We are an automations and integrations agency. So if you need help implementing or automating any of these workflows, feel free to reach out. I am going to leave where you can book a free discovery call with us here in the description below. I'm going to show you the apps I've built to integrate OpenPhone and Zoho CRM. If this is your first time using Zapier and you want to learn how to integrate and automate your tech stack, drop a comment and I'm going to provide you a link for our guide for a Zapier. To create a Zapier account is free, and to test your workflows is free as well. These are the workflows I am going to show you today, from OpenPhone to Zoho, in and outgoing text, in and outgoing calls, from Zoho to OpenPhone, new or updated contacts. Let's start with text first. So the Zapier connector for OpenPhone has several triggers, and those are incoming call completed, incoming message received, outgoing call, and outgoing message delivered as well. So every Zap will start with a different trigger and they will perform a very similar action, but it will be different every time because, sometimes you have text, sometimes you have calls. So for the incoming message received, I'm going to use that trigger on OpenPhone. Hit continue. You configure selecting your OpenPhone number. I only have one. You hit continue and you test step. When you hit test step, at this stage, Zapier is trying to pull an existing record or will show you a sample record so you can understand what kind of fields come together. So for incoming text, I have the from number, the to number, the body of the text message, the direction, as well as other information. The next step is to find this contact in Zoho CRM, and for that, I'm going to select the Zoho CRM connector, and the action event is find module entry. After you connect your Zoho CRM account, you go to the configuration tab, and this is how it looks like. So the module I'm going to search is the contacts module, and the field name is the phone. If you store person information at the lead level, you can choose that too. Then we hit continue, we test this step, and then we hit continue again. The next step is to add a note at the contact level. So again, we're going to select the Zoho CRM connector and create a module entry this time. We connect our Zoho account, and then this is how the configuration looks like. So the module we are going to create an entry is the notes module. The layout, we keep it standard, and then these are the fields we can map. So the note title, I'm going to leave incoming SMS for this one. I like adding an emoji to give a more graphical representation of this. And then for the content, we are going to bring the SMS body from OpenPhone. To do that, you need to hit this plus button on your right and map the body field coming from above. So you hit body and that's it. It's worth connecting it to a contact. So the parent module will be a contact, and the parent ID is the ID of this contact in Zoho CRM. Now we have this step to find a contact in Zoho, and this comes together with the ID of the contact. There it is, record ID. So we're going to use this record ID to connect the node to a contact. To do so, instead of selecting an existing contact from the dropdown, you need to hit this three dots button and hit in custom, and then map the ID coming from step 2. So hit the plus button and map the record ID from above. And that's it. Once you hit, you can test this step to make sure a node was created on Zoho CRM, and then hit publish. Always remember to rename your zaps so you will remember what they do when you want to edit them later on. The outgoing text workflow looks pretty much the same. The trigger changes to outgoing message delivered. The find contact entry will use the to value instead of the from number. And the note, I updated the title to represent what this does, outgoing, and also update the emoji there. The body, the ID, and the rest of the fields are pretty much the same. Now a Zap that requires an extra step, outgoing calls completed. For outgoing calls, the trigger event is outgoing call completed. Then the find contact is pretty much the same. We need to find the contact using the to phone number. And then what we have in the middle is a create a transcription step using ChatGPT. This is optional. Add it only if you have ChatGPT or any AI. To create transcriptions using ChatGPT, you select the ChatGPT connector. The event is to create a transcription, and this is how the configuration tab looks like. You need to input the recording URL coming from the trigger, and you can leave the rest as it is. Actually, you want the response format to be text, and here you can specify a prompt. So if you work in a specific industry, you can mention that you are this is a call with a prospect or a client about real estate, about the property, so on and so forth. Otherwise, you can leave this open, and this will create a transcription for you. Finally, adding the note to a person looks, again, pretty similar to what we had before. The only difference is that no title, I'm using outgoing call, and I'm bringing the content of the transcription in, as well as the link to the recording. This is pretty useful. So I can have both text transcription at the contact level, as well as the link to the call if I need to check the audio. Let me go back to show you how this looks like. I'm going to refresh, and this is how it looks like on Zoho. Finally, incoming calls, and this looks a little bit more complicated, but I'm going to explain why. So the trigger again is incoming calls completed. The next step is to find a contact in Zoho, and then we have paths. Paths is an interesting module on Zapier as it allows to create different logic depending on things that may be different from Zap, depending on the situation. So in this case, I'm branching out two paths, and this is why. So if you go to the OpenPhone app connector and at the trigger level, you may notice this description here below. So triggers when an incoming call is completed. If the call is not picked up by you, the answered at field will be null, so there will be no information. If the user leaves a voicemail, you will get the recording and the transcription on the same object. So what I'm doing here with paths is split that logic. So in case we get a voicemail, it will create a different note compared to the one that if you picked up the call. So for path A, actually we can rename this to voicemail. The condition is that answer at does not exist. And the note, I left the content to be the transcription of the voicemail as well as the URL of the audio file. For incoming calls answered, going to rename this path. And again, the condition this time is answer at field exist. And so if that exists, I'm going to create a transcription using ChatGPT again. Finally, I'm going to store this information as a note in Zoho CRM, including the content of the transcription as well as the link to the audio file. Last but not least, for this to happen, you want to have contacts synced from Zoho CRM into OpenPhone, so you have all the names in OpenPhone up to date. This Zap is very, very simple. It only has one trigger and one action, and the trigger this time starts with the Zoho CRM connector. The trigger is new or updated contact, and the action is to create or update a contact in OpenPhone. After you connect your OpenPhone account, the configuration looks like this. So you map the first name and last name. That's pretty easy. You click on this plus button and you bring in the fields that match each field. You don't need to fill everything here, but it's handy to have, the phone number first and the email as well. You can map the company if you have that, as well as the job title. Now, this first field is very, very important. If you notice, it's underscored, and that means there is a description about it. So I'm going to click it, and there is an explanation. This is the unique ID of the contact from the source. When set, OpenPhone will attempt to update an existing contact that matches this ID. If not set, a new contact will be created every time. So if we leave this field open, a new contact will be created every time. This works fine when you create a new contact in Zoho CRM, but if you update a contact, this will create duplicates in OpenPhone. What to do? Well, we need to include the contact ID from the source, which in this case is Zoho. I'm going to click the plus button and use the contact ID, which is unique for each of your contacts in Zoho CRM. This way, we ensure we don't have duplicates in OpenPhone and contacts are kept in sync. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this step-by-step tutorial about connecting OpenPhone to Zoho CRM. If you need help implementing this or any other workflows, feel free to reach out using the link in the description below, or drop your comments if you want other workflows involving OpenPhone and Zoho contacts. For example, we can have a workflow that can send text from within Zoho CRM, so your sales reps don't need to leave the CRM to send a message, but they can do it within the CRM. That's an idea. Drop in the comments below your idea, and I'm happy to create a tutorial if I see fit. Cheers!